We continue on with NFL landscape of SBC sports. We preview our playoff bracket. We did this earlier in the regular season. We do it again this time just for our playoff brackets. Let's start off in the NFC. Let's try to make these like 15, 20 seconds each game and then move on. Let's be a little bit more efficient. Okay.
Gotcha.
So you could go first.
Am I going all
49ers.
the way through to the Super Bowl winner, or are we just going back and forth? Like what?
What do you think we should do?
We could just
No,
go back and forth.
because if we go back and forth, because I'm gonna
Yeah,
have like a totally different
never
divisional
mind, never
round
mind, never
game than
mind. I'll
you.
just do my entire one, and then you can do yours.
I
All
bet.
right, to start off with the 49ers versus Seattle, I got a 49ers blowout. I'm going to move on from that. And then I got Vikings versus Giants. I got Vikings winning a close one because of the better weapons. And we kind of broke that down in our NFC video we just did. But I'm going Vikings versus Giants. I'm taking the Vikings. Then I got Cowboys upsetting the Bucks, but really isn't an upset because we did finish with more wins.
That is
But
not an
technically we're the
upset, buddy. That is not an
technic,
upset.
technic, by the technicality, we are the 5 seed. They're the 4 seed. It would be an upset in Tampa Bay. They got home field advantage. So let's not act like the records matter when you go into the playoffs. Everyone's 0-0. But anyway,
Okay,
I
that's
got the
true.
Cowboys winning. And then, so in the next round in the NFC, it would be 49ers versus, or actually, I'll skip to the AFC and go AFC.
Yeah,
And
go
then we'll
AFC
go
wild
to the.
card.
I got Bills versus Dolphins. I think if Tua plays, this could be a very upsetting game for Bills fans. But I think Bills have more to play for now with the whole DeMar Hamlin situation. I think Bills just don't. I just don't think they can lose this game. I got Bills moving on. And then in the next game, the Bengals versus the Ravens. I think Bengals have their number. I think Bengals win this game even if Lamar plays. I think Bengals just have too many weapons. Although, if there was going to be an upset in the first round on the AFC side, it would be the Ravens over the Bengals because it would be Lamar playing like he should. He wants all the money in the world. He's going to show why he deserves all the money in the world. And if there was going to be an upset, it would be the Ravens over the Bengals. Mark my words. But I'm gonna take the Bengals. And then Jags versus Chargers. I don't see this as an upset. Mike Williams did just go down because of a terrible coaching job, and so did Bosa. But I got the Chargers. I think Jags making a close game versus Tennessee when Tennessee was starting who at quarterback? Who? Exactly. Give me the Chargers and an upset, but not an upset win. So I got both 5 seeds winning in both brackets. So that would leave us with the Chiefs versus the Chargers and the Bills versus Bengals, which everyone's going to be tuned in to watch. It's going to be a very exciting game because we didn't get to watch it in the regular season. So moving on to the next round, 49ers versus Vikings. If the Vikings haven't already got upsetted, they are losing this game. And I think the entire NFC is rooting against the Niners, but the Niners just have too good of a team. I'm not knocking them out right here. I got the Niners moving on to the NFC Championship. And Eagles versus Cowboys. Everyone's wondering about this game if this game comes to fruition. Who's going to win this game? We didn't play them when they had Jalen Hurts when we had Dak. We played them when we had Cooper Rush, and they played us when they had Gardner Minshew. So this is the first time we're going to get to see Jalen Hurts versus Dak if both players stay healthy going into that week in a playoff game. And so I think the setting in Philadelphia, I do have a Cowboys upset in the next round if we win. I do have the Cowboys beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I just think we're the better team. Eagles have had an easy schedule all year. They went 1-1 with us. We have a perfectly capable team of beating them if we can shut down Jalen Hurts in his run game and somewhat lock up A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, which is very hard to do. I understand. But I think their defense is very overrated. I don't think it's as good as people say it is. It's a product of how easy their schedule has been. I think their hardest games this year were us. Anyway, give me the Cowboys versus Niners in an NFC championship, just like the old days. And give me the 49ers winning that game. I do have the Niners coming out.
I bro, on before we recorded off the record, I don't like bringing up off the record, but I'm gonna bring it up here. You said you rather face the Niners than the Cowboys. This prediction
I'd
completely
rather no,
contra.
no, 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 no. I'd rather verse the Niners than the Eagles, is what I
I mean,
said,
the Niners
not
than
the
the
Cowboys.
Eagles. Yeah, you rather face
Yes.
the Niners than the Eagles, and then you choose them to upset the Eagles and beat the Niners. Look, I mean, and then upset the Eagles, then lose to the
Because,
Niners. I don't know how that makes
but in
sense,
the
but
case, because in that case, I was saying if upsets happen, like if the Niners lost the first round or if the Vikings lost in the first round, then we wouldn't have to verse the Eagles, is what would happen. And so I was saying I'd rather verse the Niners on an upset like that and go into San Fran. But with no upsets except for us beating the Buccaneers, which really isn't an upset, then we would be versing the Eagles regardless. And I'll coming off a bye week, coming off Jalen Hurts injury. He got back in that last game. He looked good. He looked all right. But I just have us beating them as a Cowboy fan. Realistically, Eagles probably should win this game. But I got the Cowboys winning and then Niners beating us in the NFC Championship because of too much firepower.
yeah,
Which brings
yeah,
me to the
yeah.
AFC. Which brings me to the AFC. I got the Bills versus Bengals. Now this game, this is going to be one for the centuries. I'm talking a score of you're talking like 33-30. This is going to be a very high scoring affair. Both defenses are pretty bad,
In
if you ask
Buffalo,
me.
potential freezing weather. Keep that in mind.
In Buffalo, potential freezing weather, I still have a high scoring. I just don't think any of these defenses can guard each other's weapons. That being said, I do have what Chiefs fans would hate to hear because Joe Burrow is 3-0 against the Chiefs. Give me the Bengals upsetting the Bills in the AFC divisional round in Buffalo to go on to the AFC Championship so they can shut up all the doubters that say, "Oh, it was a unicorn year last year. This year's going to be a fluke. They're gonna lose early. The people had them not making the playoffs after a bad start. This Bengals team got hot at the right moment again. Now they're looking good. Now what do people have to say? That's 2 years in a row they started looking good at the right moment. But anyway, then I got the Chiefs beating the Chargers, although I don't think this is going to be an easy game. That's a divisional game. I think the Chiefs would much rather verse the Jags. The Chiefs do not want to verse this Chargers offense and this defense. But give me the Chiefs winning the game. And then we got a good old Joe Burrow undefeated versus the Chiefs versus Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense. And I think every fan would love to see a rematch Super Bowl of the Chiefs versus 49ers. And guess what? I'm going to give it to you. I got the Chiefs winning against the Bengals, giving me a Chiefs versus 49ers Super Bowl. I said at the earlier this, I didn't think the Chiefs were going to make it out. But as I sit here and think about it more and more and more, I think the Bengals' chances of making it are a lot harder if no upsets happen because Bengals would have to verse, I meant the Bengals would have to verse the Bills before they would get to the Chiefs. And I think coming after that game to upset the Chiefs as well is something a prediction cannot do. And I just don't have a prediction of two upsets happening in a row. So give me 49ers versus Chiefs in my updated Super Bowl prediction. And give me your beloved, your absolute beloved, what they've been waiting for all these years was to win the Super Bowl. Give me the 49ers winning the Super Bowl over the Chiefs. I'm a 49ers hater. For those watching this, I'm a 49ers hater. I absolutely hate the 49ers. But I think it's just too good of a story of mystery relevant coming in for quarterback. They've been searching at Trey Lance. They've been searching at Jimmy G. They get this guy that's like, oh, well, eventually he's going to fail, right? Eventually he's going to make mistakes, right? I don't know. Is he? Is he going to make mistakes? Because if he doesn't make mistakes, this team is very capable of winning the Super Bowl. And if we get that rematch with the Chiefs and they get an early lead like they did in that Super Bowl where they lost, I just don't see them letting Mahomes come back again and win in it. That being said, they got a tall task in the Super Bowl. But besides the Super Bowl, I think if there's a very easy road to a Super Bowl that the Niners will ever get, this NFC is very weak. Very, very, very weak. And if they don't win it this year, I think their window of trying to find a quarterback to get them there is shortening more and more. Because then next year they're going to have a question. Do we go back to Trey Lance? Do we go to Jimmy G? Do we go to Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant? And it's just going to keep going back and forth. They're going to eventually trade one. It might not be the right decision. I think you got to
We
win.
get it. We get it. We get it. You want to talk about the negatives about the Niners. That's all you want to do.